Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi everyone. Let me now go through a few work examples on designing columns. I will start off with example number 1 is on axial loaded column. This particular column is subjected to a load of 1400 kilonewton. The length of the column is 4500 millimeter, 4.5 meter, and both ends are pin ended. And both at both about both axes. What does this about both axes should be? Not x y, should be y y and z z. This is the major axis, while this one is the minor axis. Which one is the major axis and which one is minor axis? It depends on the orientation of the cross section here. So in this case, that axis here is considered to be the z axis, while this one here is the y axis. Okay, so in this case, the column, since the column is a bare column, there is no restraint at both axes, so definitely it will fail at the minor axis, which is at the z axis. This is the minor axis. Okay, the critical length is 1.0 L, 4.5 meter, and we will start to estimate first the column. In this particular case, it is difficult to estimate the column. There is a trial here to just estimate that the reduction factor is to be 0.6 to give us the first trisection. If I were you, I just forget about this trisection. What you have to do is just from the section property, just get one size and start from here. Okay. Now, once you have just get this section, so don't bother about estimating the chi value. So once you have already estimate the section, now the first step in designing a column is actually, the first one is to classify the section. That will be the first step, and refer to table 5.2. So remember why we need to classify the section. It's all about to avoid, we have to avoid local buckling. Okay, that was the reason why we classify the section. Now, it is subjected, the column now is subjected to a compression load. So meaning to say that the whole part of the column now is in compression. So the column is divided into two elements. One is the what we call the outstand element, and another one here is the internal element. Okay, now so both elements need to be checked, the outstand element and the internal element. How to check it? You have to find the class limit, right? The limit is come from the table 5.2 here, right? So we start off with the outstand element, which is the flange. So from here, you have to make a choice whether it is a road section or a welded section. In this case, it's a road section. So the limit will be either, for class 1 is C over T is less than 9 epsilon. Class 2 is C over T, the limit is 10 epsilon, and so forth. So in this case, since all the column is subjected to the outstand element here, all are subjected to compression, so that will be the limit, 9 epsilon. How to get the epsilon? Epsilon is actually the square root of 235 divided by Fy, and Fy is actually You get it from which table? Table 3.1. Right? So from that, you know the value of CF divided by TF, which is actually comes from table of dimension and properties, and the value is less than epsilon from table 5.2. Therefore, the section is plastic. Okay, and then for the web, which is the internal element, we refer to this table, and is a web element which is this one. So you have to choose whether the part is in bending or compression or the combination of the two. So since this case the column is just subjected to compression alone, so you refer to this value here, right? So check with this one for class 1, which is 33, the limit is 33 epsilon, and you can see here that the CW divided TW, which is 23.3, is less than CT epsilon, therefore the section is class 1. So now the whole section will be class 1. That will be the first step on section classification. Right. The second step now is actually to check the cross-sectional resistance. This is step 2, cross-sectional resistance, and it has to comply to this formula here. The NED actually must be less than or equal to NCRD. And the capacity, the resistance designed for axial of the column is from this formula, and the value is 2560, and you can see here that the value, the capacity is more than the design load, which is less than 1.0, so the section is adequate for compression resistance. The next step is actually the step number 3 is on the checking the buckling resistance. To check the buckling resistance, we have to comply with this formula here, which is actually NED, which is the design axial load, must be less than or equal to the resistance to flexural buckling NBRD. Now, the next step is actually to find what is MBRD, and MBRD is actually given by the formula. Now, what is it? The MBRD here, that is MBRD, is actually the reduction factor multiplied by the area Fy divided by gamma M1, sorry, and our next job is actually to find what is the reduction factor. The reduction factor is actually comes from this formula here, okay, and we need to find phi, right, and also lambda bar squared. And what is phi here? Phi is given by this formulation here, and got the value of 0.97, and before getting this value 0.97, you need to calculate two things here. You need to calculate the lambda and also alpha, and alpha, that value 0.49, where does this alpha comes from? It comes from table 6.1 and 6.2, which is here, right? So before getting the value of alpha, we need to know the buckling curve. Now the buckling curve comes from table 6.2, and you need to know the axis the buckling occurs, the buckling about axis. Which axis? The is the column fills, whether it is the y-axis or the z-axis. So it all depends on, now it has depend on this value here, the h over b. If it is greater than 1.2, in this case h over b is less than 1.2. Yeah, it's less than 1.2. So we refer to this area here. Right, h will be less than 1.2. And the TF is the thickness of the flange. TF is less than 100. TF is less than 100. Here, TF is 100, which is this one here. And now, since the buckling axis, it fails at the Z axis. Remember just now, this is the minor axis. So we choose the value C if the section is S23573550420. So we choose value C. And that's the reason where C, if you got C here, where that value of alpha, which is 0.49. Yeah, 0.49. So you have got the value alpha here is 0.49. Next, you want to calculate the value of lambda. And lambda is given by two methods. Just concentrate on one method here. This method. Okay. Where is it? This method number 2, lambda. It's been calculated here. Sorry. Here using this formula here, lambda bar Fy over NCR, and NCR is from this, actually is a critical load. Euler critical load, pi squared EI over L squared. So from that you have got the value of 0.8. Then you push the value here. Then this is where you got the value of pi equals 0.97. So once you have got that value, as just now, you calculate chi. This is chi, and you got a 0.6, right? And then 0.66, you put into this formula, put in here, and then you got the value of NBRD 0.97, and it is less than, the NED divided by NBRD is less than 1.0, which is 0.83. So the column is adequate. And that's it for designing a column with axial load. You can forget about this. So this one, method number 2, it will give the same answer. This one is actually to find the value of lambda bar. It's the same, similar to the one I've said. It's just an alternative formula. You can forget about it. Thank you very much.